Tomas Mauricio. Come on down. Tyler Kistner. Come on down. David Romero. Come on down. Keith Elsenson. Come on down. You're the first four contestants on The BS and Beer is Right.
Na 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 na. Hey, gotta love that podcast show. Na 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 na. Hey, yeah, I love that podcast show. Oh, BS and Beer is the place to go to get all the Saints news. Hell yeah, podcast show. Na 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 na. Hey, gotta love that podcast show. Na 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 na. Hey, yeah, I love your podcast show.
He loves the podcast. Hey, welcome in. It's another week, another edition. It's the BS and Beer podcast crew recording here in our palatial studios, the virtual studios. With me, to my left, what's your name again? Tomas Mauricio?
Here.
I'm used to doing Heath, and I kind of literally got stumped there for a second. But I'm Dave Romero, and I'm your host. We also have Tyler over there in the booth producing the show for us. Going to knock out some statistics for us today. We got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. We've kind of been going over like this half and half. 1 week we have the show, one we don't. And
It's all up to you, Mr. Romero.
I want to remind everybody we are broadcasting in audio for the visually impaired.
And visually for those who are deaf.
You can watch now, so you can go over to.
Or if you're hard of hearing.
Yeah, you can go to YouTube. Check
or
out
if you need glasses. I mean, we get everybody covered.
You got it all covered.
As a matter of fact, even more so, if you have an opinion and would like to submit it to us. Dave?
Man, I got it. It's been like 2 weeks since I thought
All right,
about
let's see
it.
if you do, brother.
So it's 701-901-1295.
There you go.
That's the graffiti hotline. Give us your thoughts, opinions. Listen, we're only a couple of weeks away. Matter of fact, I already have my room booked. The only thing I haven't gotten the car scheduled, but I'm kind of waiting for that good deal.
I see.
So I don't have to drive around like the little compact car with where the clowns get out of it and everything.
Where your
I'm trying
knees
to
are
see
up underneath your chin.
Yeah, if you work the right deal, so got the plane booked, everything, heading to Saints camp. But right now, man, it's the.
And so, who you buying a po' boy for this year?
I don't know, but I'm sure that. Listen, I've been.
Tyler wants. Tyler, don't you want to know about that, brother?
Tyler, Tyler knows about it. Tyler knows all about the po' boy store. Everybody knows about it. That was a big deal last year.
I know, but we're interested in knowing who is this year's.
You never know.
Bro.
That wasn't something I arranged.
Bro buddy now.
It wasn't something I arranged. It just
BFF,
happened. Just when you in the. What do you call that? Like
in the moment,
the spotlight. No, when you at the right places where the right people are.
I see.
Like that little hidden little sandwich shop around the corner. You never know who you're gonna run into. Matter of fact, I'm sure Adrian Peterson, this point in his career, he's probably telling all his friends, you know who I ran into over at a sandwich shop? I mean, it's not long. I don't think have the Saints signed him yet. I didn't check. I'm behind on the
he's
news.
Bought a couple of sandwich shops himself.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hot, breaking news.
Breaking news.
You know?
Wait, breaking news. There you go.
Breaking news from the BS and Beer News
That only goes to the video. We have to work all this stuff out. We have 2 weeks. We have 2 weeks to get this ready.
Adrian Peterson has gotten into the sandwich franchise to compete with Drew Brees.
Is that right? Are you just
making
saying
that
this?
up.
Oh, okay. I'm like, man, I didn't read that anywhere.
Mr. Gullible over here.
Well,
I just have to say it with a straight face, because I am the voice of authority.
well, then that's what you have to do. If you want people to believe, you just got to say it with authority.
That's what
and
I
then
do.
throw out a stat. Like, 97.3. The one I love is the golf stat. Like 97.2% of all putts that are left short won't go in.
That's correct.
So, you put something like people have to believe it.
Well, I'm just saying to you that it is a well-known fact that the least expensive franchise out there right now is Subway.
Well, because they putting out those 4.5-inch subs.
Well, there you go. And
Well, you
again,
think
it's a
their
perfect
overhead-
match for you and your friend Adrian.
No, I think they probably should be making all kind of money with their shaving
You would
off.
think, huh?
You would think that there's 1.5 inches there. They should be run a special on a 3-inch sub. If my math is right.
It's just too easy for me. Just keep throwing
I'm
those softballs.
just saying,
out
it's
there.
a 3-inch sub that they, so.
Yeah, well,
anyway.
I just thought it was breaking news that you should know about.
Well, I want y'all to know that we have reporters standing by.
That's right.
Standing by, waiting for breaking Saints news.
That's right. Well, I'm just telling
Unfortunately-
you, he's opening shops right next to Drew Brees' shops.
Oh, is he using his market data? Do you know
That's
that
it, man.
Burger King does that?
Yeah.
Do you ever hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, so McDonald's does all this market research, right, to know where's the right place to put a McDonald's. So then Burger King just puts a shop up where, like, let's find a
Well,
spot.
that's not real. That's kind of sort of true.
Oh, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Word on the street.
No, because that's one of my fields, real estate.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell you. This is why when you're driving down the street and you come to a corner and you say, hey, look, they got a McDonald's, a Burger King, a Popeyes, whatever else. And you say, well, I wonder why. They all know it. People go home and say, man, I need something to eat quick. Hey, let's stop at McDonald's today. Tomorrow, hey, I got to go home. Hey, we went to McDonald's yesterday. Let's go to Burger King today. That's why they're all same thing with the drugstores. You come to a corner, you see Walgreens, CVS, right? They're all the same place. You're like, dang, how can I be making any business when all three are the same place? That's the reason why.
I don't.
See, that's
understand.
how real estate works.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
well,
But there's a lot of things that
Then
I
they go
thought I
broke, and
understand.
they wonder
Yeah.
why they go broke.
There's a lot of things I don't understand, and it comes to be true later. You think you could do all? We were just talking about it. You do all the best planning in the world, research,
That's
figure
true.
it all out, put it in the right spot, do the right
You
thing,
do all your
sell
homework.
the rights, all the homework, and then you go out of business, and then the other person just comes up, and next thing you know, they're super successful, and you're just like, how did that happen?
How did that happen?
And I mean, I'm telling you, preparation, and I do believe that the more prepared you are, the more likely you are to be successful.
absolutely.
But there are a lot of people out there that are successful that they just
Happened upon it.
Yeah, just happened upon it. I've seen it 100 times.
Pet rocks.
Something I think you might find extremely because aren't you a big Madden guy?
No,
I thought you were a big Madden guy.
No.
Don't you play Madden online all
No.
night long?
no.
No. Okay. Well, the Madden ratings came out, and
I don't know
think
why you
that
people have all this time to play these games.
I used to.
I'm usually working 12, 14-hour
Oh,
days, and then I'm tired, and I got to go back. Got to go to sleep and start over the next morning.
Tomas. You
Where do you think you'll find me at 6 o'clock in the morning?
okay? First of all, you pump and iron at the gym.
That's right.
He's a grunter. If you didn't know, Tomas
No,
a
the gym
grunter.
I go to, if you grunt, they got a big, giant light and siren thing. Anybody who grunts, they hit that button. Yeah, no, sorry.
Well, there's-
No grunters.
No grunters
No grunters allowed.
Like if you're really trying to put one more out, like you're not trying to be a grunter, you're not really a grunter,
No,
but you just
sorry.
happen to grunt and they just
Well,
like
see, in my
embarrass
youth,
you.
it used to be about the free weights. But
Yeah.
in my old age now, gotta have the machine.
Well, with my I got a little gym at home,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all I have. I don't have the money for all those, all the cables and stuff. So I still go old school.
Still
when,
go old
when
school.
I do, and it's camp time.
Yeah, you're 20 years younger than I am. That's all right.
I
Wait
have
till
to
you
get
my
ready.
age.
Like I like the players. I'm getting ready for camp. I'm
Yeah.
hitting the weights, man. I've been dieting. I'm doing my walking. I'm walking like a half a mile a day.
A half a mile.
5 days a week.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Well,
I
you
gotta
got
miss.
kids, so you don't really have to walk half a mile. You just have to chase after your kids.
Well, that helps too. I
Yeah.
promise. Them
Yeah.
little rascals, though, boy, they hard to catch
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's see some more stuff. Brandon Browner, 4 felonies.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. So and kidnapping's one of them. So the holding goes
There-
beyond
right,
football.
Right, there you go.
Right
There you go.
next into.
I was going to
into
say he's
his
been
real life.
practicing.
He's been practicing.
Mm-hmm.
I saw an article and it was the Saints versus Atlanta and position by position. Thought it was pretty interesting. Thought it was pretty fair. I think we might have to touch on that and see what we think. The only problem is I say we're going to touch on it, but I know what you're going to say. So what's the point of talking about it?
Well, I might say that, there was that article that rated the best quarterbacks per division.
Okay.
And NFL South, it was Matt Ryan.
I saw that too, man. I don't know. These clowns. It's the time of year. Okay. Here's the thing.
And
Maybe,
did you go to Falconaholics?
No, I did not.
No, you see, I read. I tried to bring in everything that I can.
You're touching on all the
So
different
I went
teams.
to Falconaholics because they sent me a note about they had some article about comparing all the South teams. And, of course, Falcons are going to win everything, according to Falconaholics.
Yeah.
And the Saints, they're weak in tight end. They're weak at wide receiver. They don't have any depth at quarterback. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because depth at quarterback is okay. You know what? I was about to make a point that I can't make anymore.
Well, we can talk about quarterbacks. I thought we'd talk about quarterbacks.
Well, my point is this: if you have a superstar quarterback
Yep.
and he gets injured, what are the chances? I mean, nobody has that kind of depth. And then I just realized, well, tell that to the Eagles. So there goes that.
Well,
theory.
that was an exception to the rule.
I agree. Bubby Brister was a good backup. So
It was an exception to the rule.
right. But I do generally look. There's going to be, I don't care who you are, a huge drop off on most teams.
Yes,
if
absolutely.
you have a Hall of Fame type quarterback.
Look at Green Bay.
Or even
Perfect
a really,
example.
yeah, even a really good quarterback. Like I don't consider Matt Ryan, at least not. I mean, look, he still has time. He could blow up and become a Hall of Famer.
I don't think it's the top 5, but he's a top 15.
I think he's a very good quarterback. He's a
Yeah.
solid quarterback. And the point is there's going to be a big drop off if a guy like that gets hurt. So
All right,
the whole,
so name for me the backups to Matt Ryan in Atlanta. Yeah, nobody knows.
I don't know.
All right,
I mean,
exactly.
I would have to go and I don't have that kind of time on my
No,
hands,
me
man.
either.
I got walks to take,
chase kids,
chase kids, the whole thing, man. I don't have time to look
eat the
at all that
Cheetos
stuff.
when you fudge on your
No,
diet.
no, man, I'm good with the diet.
You sure?
No, I'm not sure. Speaking of diet, we had the hot dog eating contest.
Yeah. See, there you go.
Listen, we're trying to look. There's not a ton of Saint stuff up there, and we're bringing you, like they
We're
used to
still
say,
bringing in-depth,
a constant variety of
yes,
sports.
yes,
you
it's
know, whatever
exactly
it's the
right.
important stuff. And that seems like the hot
What's
dog.
connected? They sell hot dogs at the Superdome.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
we kind of transitioning.
Yeah.
Hot dog apparently is a big deal in the sports world right now because over the last 2 weeks, you got the woman who got the hit in the eye with
That's
the
right.
hot dog.
Yeah,
And
slapped
then-
by the wiener.
And that, she got. We were gonna do a top 10 about the wiener, but I was talked out of it. It says too soon, so too soon.
Yeah,
and not gonna do the
Yeah, pushing that envelope.
yeah, pushing the envelope. And not to mention, we got to get back in shape.
That's right.
He's not here to defend himself, but we get off the radio. It wasn't a week, and he just I don't know. He just felt like dropping an F-bomb just for the sake of doing
Just for it, yeah.
just because he could. I'm making jokes about doing it. I didn't plan on doing it. He does it. He's a rebel like that.
That's right.
But we got to get back in radio shape because in 2 weeks
FCC ain't
we're
gonna put up with that kind of
no,
stuff.
they don't put
I
up
can't
with
say that stuff on my show.
No, and we won't be able to say it anymore on the podcast.
That's
Well,
right.
we could do a show
Separate from the podcast.
Yeah, then what we could do
and
is
then you
just
pay
come
that
back
extra $19.95
In
or
Bitcoin.
0.0021 in Bitcoin,
in Bitcoin.
and you could have that extra hour.
And the only difference is show is how some shows bleep out bad words.
Yeah, we don't
We'll
bleep
come
out.
back and we'll just put
That's-
bad words in there
There
that
you
we
go.
didn't say.
Just for you.
Yeah, just for you guys.
And for
That's
the real Saints
for the
fans,
audience.
we'll badmouth both the Falcons and the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, that's a given.
There you go.
That's a given.
Hey,
Let's
it's
see.
a little extra treat.
And then we're gonna do some predictions. I think the prediction thing.
Yeah, sounds good.
We're gonna try to come up with some unique predictions because I think at some point everybody's gonna be tired of the. What do you think the Saints' record's going to be? You
Yep.
know, so we have some unique questions. We'll get Tyler involved in this too, since Heath decided he need a vacation day. You know, we offer for 13 days.
13 days.
Yeah, and he needs a vacation day,
Well,
and
so-
I understand that's hard work. Yeah, I don't know if you guys really appreciate how much work
Goes into
into
this.
this.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, at least 15 minutes before we go on air, I got to be in here getting things ready.
That's Dave.
And stop now. You see, I'm making jokes, and he's going to start telling me about the hours and hours of preparation.
Man, I do some serious prep work for this show.
The-
You told me the other day, out of the 90 players, I had 78 on there that were defensive linemen. That's what you told me. I had several pieces of paper in front of me. He's like, hey, look at that. So you got 78 people there.
I ain't gonna lie. Okay, and if I hope it doesn't offend anybody, but the preparation I put in this show in off season, very minimal. I mean, sometimes it's just to put on a show is kind of like,
I hear you.
you know,
I understand.
and it's kind of like our chance to get together and talk and bull,
Have a good time.
and mess around and talk a little Saints. But yeah, I don't spend a whole bunch of time now during the regular season. I start getting excited.
Another
and,
extra 5 minutes.
You know, putting up those little, put in another 10 minutes. But no, seriously, when it's the season,
Yes.
I'm over there like just watching like every play I can get my hands on, and I'm sitting there diagramming.
Well, you follow up all the boards all during the season.
Yeah, and then
Whereas I don't.
Like last year I was doing those little videos to kind of explain how plays work for some people who are more interested in some of the,
Man, that was good.
technical
Not
stuff.
quite as good as Baldinger.
Baldinger. No, Baldinger.
Man, that
got
dude
it.
is
Well,
unbelievable,
What
man.
he has that we don't have is that finger. You
Yeah,
got to have that
exactly. You
finger
gotta
that
have
kind of
that finger that-
leans the other way.
Yeah.
And just
Can't quite get it there.
wait. Almost.
Oh, you almost broke it there.
and then you just kind of make sure that when you're talking, no matter what you do,
You always have that hand out in
finger
front of
has
you
to
that's
be
like,
out
you
where
know,
everybody can
That's
see
right.
it,
You know, you got to bend one of them this way like this, and
like
the other
a
like that.
90-degree angle.
Well, I can't quite. I mean, my piano fingers are pretty strong, but I can't quite do it.
All right, I don't know if we covered it all.
I think we did. I think
but
we're ready to start the show,
That's
brother.
right. We prepared you for what's coming.
Just
But
wait.
don't remember, hey, we do have our breaking news team waiting for any Saints news that comes out.
That's
We
right.
will interrupt the show.
That's correct.
We'll interrupt the show for breaking Saints news as soon as it pops up.
Dun, dun, dun. Yep, there you go.
All right, so don't go anywhere. Let's get this show started.
Let's get it.
Welcome back. It's the BS and Beer podcast crew. It's just Tomas with me today. I got Tyler on the board, working hard, getting us some statistics, doing all the stuff that he does. We call him the coach. Tyler, you guys finished with the off season yet?
Yeah, we finished.
Yeah, so he's a basketball coach. The man knows his football, but he's a basketball guy. So,
He's a real soccer guy, too, though.
Oh, you know
so
what?
Congrats to England getting there, Tyler. I said congrats to you. You're an England fan, so,
I am an England fan.
you know.
America's not in it.
Yep. So you're pulling for England there. France got in.
France is in.
Yep.
On TT's goal.
wait, it's a family show. Please refrain.
He said it correctly.
I said it correctly.
He said it.
Say it again then.
On TT.
That's
Okay,
correct.
we're not going to have that. Listen, we're not going to have that kind of language
I'm sorry.
here on the show. It's
I
unacceptable.
had to dock your pay for that one.
Yeah, Doc, you pay for that one. All right, so let's get to the. We're going to do the Madden ratings first, or did we say we're going to do the?
Yeah, you said you want to do the four finalists for the.
Okay, so here's the thing. Just recently, the news broke because if you're not aware of it, you should be. If you listen to the show, we talked about it a couple of
Yeah,
weeks
you have
ago.
to be aware of it.
It should be that it was a shoe-in that Shreve was going to be the play-by-play. That's everything that I was hearing, everything I was
Yeah.
reading.
And we were all like, what?
And it didn't really make sense because as much as I like the guy, as much as he's a fan favorite,
Yeah.
he's a media favorite, and because everything you hear is he's just a good guy. He's easy to work with. So I'm sure he got a lot of support from the media. It's just to have him and Deuce in the box just didn't seem it just didn't seem like it would be something that would work. So then this week, apparently, the names that came out and these names, more familiar guys that you're used to hearing doing the play-by-play. Sean Kelly, who he has all three of these guys, man. Joe Myers, Mike Haas. Now, I like Mike Haas, but when I hear Sean Kelly and I hear Joe Myers, they have that football, that broadcaster voice. To me, it's a little nostalgic. It's kind of, I honestly can't think of Mike Haas right now off the top of my head, but the other guys, I can hear their voice in my head.
Yeah.
And I just
well,
think
because
that
Mike Haas is not as enthusiastic. When you hear Sean Kelly, and I mean, both Sean Kelly and Myers are doing the Pelican games. And so if you listen to any Pelican games, you're going to hear them. So you already have an idea. And like I said, they're more enthusiastic, especially Sean Kelly. You hear him, he's kind of, whereas Mike Haas a little bit more late. It's more along the Streif kind of line, you
Right.
know? So I don't know what's going to come out. But don't be surprised if they pick somebody, do it this season, and at the end of the season go, maybe not.
well, and I think that what you're saying
It's happened in the past.
very viable. You have a guy that's been like Jim Henderson, who's been, I mean, he's
Hard to replace.
He's locked in
Yep.
for so many years, and you just kind of assume that once they pick a guy, he's going to be the guy for a long time, but that's just not the case.
Yep.
I think that you can see them working for a better fit if a fit doesn't, happen right away.
Right.
So I don't know. To me, Sean Kelly, Joe Myers, I think both of those guys would be really good.
Yep.
And here's the thing, being, I was born and raised in Louisiana, and being always interested in Louisiana sports, you hear those guys, and what happens when you hear that voice over and over?
Yeah,
it
it's a
becomes
connection.
natural. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like listening to a song. You listen to it the first time, it's like, and you listen to it a few more times, you start doing, hey, I like that. It's catchy. And so, like Jim Hawthorne, LSU's voice. I mean, years and years went by where, before radio broadcasts were so available on the internet, years and years went by where I hadn't heard his voice. And, man, the first time I was like, oh, there's LSU game, and you listen to it
Yep.
on the I wonder how many people, the young guys, don't even know about
They
this.
don't.
But
They don't.
back in the day, man, you have to find some obscure something another and listen to an LSU game on the internet, and you'd hear his voice. I'd hear his voice, and it was just nostalgic, man. It's like, man, why don't I listen to him more often? So to hear those guys' voices, I think just right off the bat, off the top of my head, hearing that voice in my head, I think that one of those two guys would do really well.
Yep.
Not
Yep.
that I'm not. I want to. I guess what I'm trying to say is I support Streif in a lot of things. I wouldn't pick him over maybe.
Well, I'm gonna wait to pass opinion. I'd like to hear. What I'd like to hear is each one of them do one of the preseason games.
Okay.
Got 4 preseason games. You got 4 finalists. Hey, let each one of them do one of the games.
You know, what's wrong with that? I think that's a good idea.
Give us an idea what they sound like. That'd be what I throw out there.
Well, and see how it works with Deuce and, the whole.
Right, because there also has to be you have to create some kind of camaraderie, some kind of, chemistry. And who knows which one of these guys will be a better fit.
I agree. And I'll use this show as an example. When we first started doing the show, it takes a minute to get chemistry, to know when a guy's going to talk, when the guy needs to shut up, when you step
I never
up.
shut
when
up.
But
Of course, my wife says neither do you.
no, neither one of
two
us.
of
do.
us.
But
But he's getting better.
Heath, he just knows he got nothing the whole time and just let us go. And when we get tired,
No, but he's getting better he talks during the break. And then he gets on the show and he's like,
he has so much to add. If you knew all the insight he has.
But he's getting better about it
No,
now.
he
Now
is.
he's talking now
being
during
more
the show.
assertive.
Yeah.
Well, and both of us had radio experience prior to the podcast. I think Heath is starting to get
Catch
more
on to it,
Yeah, he's
sure.
just getting more comfortable. But I think that you do develop chemistry. And
Yes.
listen, you could be a really good play-by-play guy, and then if you have to carry somebody else too much, all of a sudden you don't seem to flow as much as you
That's
used to
correct.
when you get like the breaks and the choppiness and the interruption and all of a sudden you don't perform as well as you can because you don't have a real good chemistry with the other guy. So I think it's definitely something. I think that's a great idea. Why don't you split them
think
up?
each
Let them
one-
each do a game.
Each do a game, or if they want to do each one does a quarter.
Why not?
I mean, put them all in a box at the same time and see what
It
happens.
might be a little overkill, and I mean, there's a certain point where it's like a little competition going on there.
Well,
and
that's what it is.
Guys all uncomfortable.
Well,
You know,
hey.
the other guys in the back like snickering, like he's like, oh, he dropped the football, and they're like, laughing at him and stuff.
That was number 20, 30.
yeah. Oh,
who
yeah,
was that?
Great job, douchebag. Just heckling them in the back and really putting the screws on them and pressure.
Look, you have to be confident. Now, that's the bottom line. We do this show. We do it podcast. We do it VCast. I'm not worried. It doesn't bother me at all that they have other people doing VCast and other people doing podcasts. Because you know what? We're the best. And so it's
And humble, too, and we're humble.
I'm humble, but I'm also truthful. See, there's a difference you have to understand. I don't say I walk on water if I can't walk on water. So I don't say that.
I mean, I don't know. You to me, it's just getting deeper and deeper.
No, I don't think so.
No, I know you don't.
Look, I'm very proud. I'm very proud of being part of the team here that does this VCast and that does this podcast. I'm very proud because I believe that we have the best chemistry, and I believe we have the best production. And so I'm proud to state that.
Well, I'm proud.
And I don't
too.
worry about the other people. Hey, you know what? They have to catch up with us. They might have more followers today. I'm just saying, today. Season's going to start up pretty soon. Our VCast is going to take off. You're going to see all the people following us on VCast because they want to know what's happening in the football game. And we're going to tell them.
Well, we're going to do the
There you
best we
go.
can to bring you that
And
Saints news.
again, if you have some question, not only can you hit us up on a hotline, but we also have an email address.
Email
Isn't
us,
that true?
bsnbeer@icloud.com.
There you
Matter
go.
of fact, that's the easiest way. You want us to talk about something, you have a subject, you want to give us some feedback, send us the email.
There you go.
Very rarely do, I mean, pretty much all of them get on. I can't think of, very rarely
and then we
does
also
one of
have
them not
Twitter
get on.
accounts. So if you watch the screen, if you're watching the VCast, you'll see that our great producer over there, he rolls along on that screen. See, there's my name. Pretty soon there'll be my Twitter account. See, because we want you to hit us up on the Twitter too.
What's your Twitter account?
Tomas. No, that's not it. I'm sorry, that's not it. But okay, it's BS and Beer.
No, but here's the thing. It is.
Oh, Tomas 19 at I think it's
Yeah,
Tomas 19.
you always give your name, which is fine. You can find that way too. But
Yeah.
when I was setting up these graphics,
Yes.
you say it like mine is at BS Saints BS,
Right.
but the name is David Romero.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yours-
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So yours is actually at whatever that was that just scrolled up there. So mine's different. So I don't
you know
know.
what?
It was something I
I
realized.
have several Twitter accounts.
No, you have like 3 or 4 of them.
Well, because I have other.
Yeah, you try to keep everything separated.
I've got different things. BS and Beer Huda.
Right.
That's mine. Now it also it says at Tomas Mauricio 19.
That's your Twitter handle. Tyler, what's that called? It's a Twitter handle. He's the millennial. He can explain all this
yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
My Twitter is not the first thing you read. It's your at Tomas Mauricio
Really?
19. Yeah. So
See,
you
I
got it
didn't know
backwards.
that.
Yeah. So,
But why does it say at Tomas Mauricio 19?
well, because mine is at Saints BS.
Oh.
So you see, figure some new stuff out.
Well, hell's bells. Does that mean
Well,
my
now
other
you know
ones-
I take all that back. You're the one who turned me on to Twitter to begin with.
Yeah.
And now I'm teaching. Now the what is it? The subject is
Grasshoppers teaching the master.
Yeah,
Is that
something
it?
like that, right? So,
Okay.
all right, let's get to some.
See, my other
interesting
one's just
stuff.
my name. If that's okay. Say my name. Say my name.
If you can get it like that, if you can just find your name on there. Usually it's hard to be, but you have a pretty unique name.
All right. Plus, that one's really old. That's like when Twitter first
Yeah.
started, and that's my wine and beer Twitter account.
Like,
If you want to hit me up, talk about wine and talk about beer.
like when it was before, like Moses had put the
That's right.
real,
What was
the
that?
real Moses.
That's right. That's right. That's all before that. We were using still stone tablets to,
Yeah, they're
to check
Twitter
in.
chiseling.
Yeah, all
all
right.
right. Hey, let's get
Make
to
fun of me.
let's
All
get to
right.
the Madden rankings. So, a couple of things I find interesting, but I'm start off Marcus Davenport. His overall rating 75. Now, here's the thing. I wouldn't expect him to be that high on the list. But 75, when you look at, and because I don't follow these things that much, is that good? Is it bad? And it doesn't sound like it's that good. So I think that's pretty low. Also, when you consider that Traquan Smith, the receiver from in the
Drafted.
third round,
Yeah.
72. His speed is 89,
Yeah.
catching 81,
Yeah.
and whatever
Must have something
SPC is
terrible.
84. Rick Leonard 65. Natrell Jamerson
Yeah.
67.
Yeah.
Interesting here, the guy picked after him, around after him, Cameron Moore 68.
Mm-hmm.
So
But remember, they were debating which one to pick first.
sure,
Yeah.
okay. Boston Scott,
Yeah, that's my boy.
a 72 overall rating.
There you go.
So somebody over at Madden, and Will Clapp 62. Somebody over at Madden thinks pretty highly of Boston Scott
I do too.
over everyone. Well, he's tied with Smith, the receiver,
Yeah.
third round draft pick. Marcus Davenport 75. So looking at all these, relatively speaking, and I think Tyler has a graphic up there. And what's that? Different guys in the league. Well, this really puts it in perspective. So these are all the. Is the first Saint at what?
25.
At 25? All right, why don't you read off the top 8 people there, Tyler?
Tom Brady, got a rating of 90 top, but the top
99.
guys all are rated 99.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Brady and then Antonio Brown, Aaron Donald from the
Yeah.
Rams.
Yeah.
They rating as an RE. That's a right in.
Right. That's going to help him in contract negotiation.
Yeah.
Gronk. So the Patriots have,
Two.
205.
Yeah.
And you got Luke Kuechly from Carolina, obviously, 99.
Yeah.
Von Miller. And then Aaron Rodgers is
Top quarterback.
the second quarterback.
Second quarterback. Yeah.
And you got Julio coming in 8.
Yeah.
All right.
Cam Jordan drops in as the first Saint at 95.
95. So that'll tell you a lot about at least what Madden thinks of Marcus Davenport. So hopefully he comes out in his rookie year and exceeds
Smokes them all.
exceeds at least Madden's
Smokes them all.
expectations.
What's the highest ranked after Julio Jones? What's the next Atlanta Falcant? All right, look it up for us.
All right. So
And who's the highest Carolina Panther? Oh, besides Kuechly. All right, good man.
all right, my man. So I don't know, man. They don't think very highly of him. I mean, again, it's a video game. I just saw that, thought it was kind of interesting, and thought it was interesting relative to the other guys the Saints drafted.
Yeah.
What they thought of Marcus Davenport. So it looks like, especially based on the top guys who are ranked 99, 98. What was Cam Jordan was 95. I mean, 75 that's a pretty significant
Fur
drop.
piece down.
Yeah, that's a fur piece down. Now, what does all mean? Absolutely nothing. But hey, it's interesting, right?
Well, look, those numbers are going to be that way because remember, there's still a lot of people. And that's not the way I want to say it, but there are a lot of people who follow the Saints who think it was a terrible pick. There are a lot of sportscasters who think it was a terrible pick. There are a lot of people on the Twitter world think every place that follows me, every social media out there. There are a lot of people who think, man, the Saints blew it. Not only did they pick the wrong guy in the first round, but they picked the wrong guy and gave up 2 first round. And again, that's still going around. Did we give up 2 or did we give up 1? Or, look, the bottom line is this. Like I said to somebody who said I was wrong, but every player out there, first round draft choice, if you're not one of the top 10, it's a crapshoot. I mean, in my opinion. And then even there, I'll remind everyone, Cam Jordan, first round draft pick. At the end of the first year, What do they think? He's a
Garbage.
bust.
Yeah, he's a bust.
He ain't no good. Now, I just read an article. He's unstoppable. Of all the defensive ends out there, Cam Jordan is a guy you can't defend against.
The best all-around defensive
Right?
end in the league.
This is from a guy who, after the first year, was like, man, what a bust. You know?
We blew that one.
So I'm just going to say to you, look, yeah, small school, okay. Maybe the numbers, because he was a small school, don't add up. That's what a lot of people say. Man, if a small school is that great, he should have been killing them. Hey, who knows? I'm going to say this. Let's see where he is year 1 to 2. Remember, we've always said, big, huge step forward year 1 to 2. Let's see where he is in year 2, and then let's see where he is in year 3. Then talk to me about whether or not it was a wasted draft.
Well, I
choice.
think what you're saying there, Tomas, is extremely reasonable. And I think the problem is that people aren't looking to wait. There are several factors. One of them, the draft picks last year, for instance, that's what people think now. That's the
yeah,
new.
but Lattimore was a top 5 guy.
No, I get it. I get
Okay,
it.
he
I'm
was
not
a
saying
sure make.
I'm not saying
you know?
they're right, but what I'm saying is that Saints are going to be victims of their own success
Absolutely,
when
I
it comes to
understand that.
perception.
Yes,
So
yes.
people looking like after last year, Ryan Ramczyk, you're not going to get a lot of fanfare when you play right tackle, but everybody
Dude
thought
played every game.
he played every game. He was great. He's a
And got
bookend-
better as the season went on.
He's a bookend
Yeah.
offensive tackle.
Yeah.
So, again, the reason I'm pointing out that you don't get a lot of fanfare is because if he was a tight end or a receiver or something and
Yeah.
had the same
A skilled-
relative
a skilled
performance,
spot, yes.
people would be talking about, like, man, we had Lattimore, we had Ramczyk. But because he's an offensive lineman, he doesn't get the accolades
Right.
that you see from fans and talking
Right.
about. But he's an excellent player and is part of the reason why our draft was so incredible. Then the rest of the guys. The point is that and the fact that, and I'm including this group, everybody looks at the Saints as we got a window. Whether some people I think it's a 2-year window. Some people might think it's a 4-year window. Some people, but at the end of the day, based on the fact that they think that we have a small window to get this done,
yes.
the idea of a guy taking 3 years to develop is not what people want to hear, but the fact of the matter is, now listen, let's take into consideration and make sure we're on the same page when I say 3 years. That doesn't mean that he can't come out and have 5 sacks and be a difference maker on passing down.
Absolutely.
Because again,
Absolutely.
5 sacks, you might even say 5 sacks. But listen, if you're only playing, let's say you're playing most of the passing downs, but you're only playing 20% of first and second down, and those 5 sacks, that's just relative to how many pressures you get, how many times you get tackles
Right.
behind the line of scrimmage,
Right.
how many times you affect the passer,
Correct.
how many times a guy like Cam Newton rolls out one way and instead of being able to roll and get the edge, he cuts the edge off and Cam Newton throws it out of bounds, and you think, oh, well, that wasn't much of a play. Had that defender not been there, in this particular instance I'm talking about Davenport, hadn't he been there, maybe Cam turns the corner and gets 15 yards of first
Exactly.
down, and the drive continues for a touchdown. The point is his speed and athleticism on the field will make plays and make
Yes,
differences.
I agree with you.
That even though it doesn't show up in the stats and the sacks, will be so he's going to be better than what his stats will show, I think. But having said that, I'm not expecting 10 sacks and him
I'm not
an every
either.
down player.
I'm not either. But and like 2 things that you said. One, definitely, we were our own worst enemies because we did so great last year in picking up so many good starters, especially on defense. Okay? So, yeah, so now the expectation is there. But the other thing is this, just like you said. How much is he going to play? Again, we're spoiled because Lattimore came in and played every game, he was there the whole season. Okay, fine. Understand. But like I said, he's a top 5. Okay, this kid that we drafted, he's not a top 5. Okay, he's somebody potential. Now, you're discounting that we have Hendrickson. You're discounting we have Okafor coming back. You're discounting we have Anzalone coming back. And you're discounting that one kid that we picked up that now everybody was excited about last year, and we haven't heard a word from him, Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you look at it,
I think Muhammad might be a false prophet. But
well, he might be. He might be.
Like
I
that?
understand
You like that?
I got that one.
All right,
I got that
all
one.
right,
I
all
got
right.
that. I got that. May he be praised. But in any case, now I'm going to catch hell for that. Okay. But in any case, we have a lot of players. There's no. He would have to be like incredible to be playing more than 20% of the downs in next year's defense.
Well, I mean, I think he'll play more than 20%. I think that the
I
Saints.
don't.
I think the Saints
I
will
don't.
have him.
I think the only way that'll happen is if Okafor doesn't come back, Hendrickson doesn't come back. If those kids that we had that were showing potential before they got injured, If those kids don't come back, then I would say, yeah, then they're probably going to have to play him 67% of the time.
Here's the thing. Is right off the bat, I don't think that Okafor is going to be like 100% game one. So that's going to increase Davenport snaps. Okay,
But that
so
brings Hendrickson in.
and I agree. And here's the
now
thing.
they've moved Kikaha someplace else.
Kikaha, I'd be amazed if he makes.
I
the
love
team.
Kikaha, but yeah,
And I do too. I love him. I want
to
to
be shocked if he makes his
I
team.
love the guy, and you just want him to be successful.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So right off the bat, because he is a first rounder that they gave so much up for. But here's the thing. It's not just because they gave up picks to get Davenport. It's they obviously loved his skill set. So they're going to find every opportunity. He's going to get 40, 50% of the snaps.
I don't know. I don't know.
But
But I will say that I think he'll get better during the season, and I do believe that we've got a really top-notch defensive line coach. Because
Yes.
if you look at last year's tapes, I mean, I've been looking at all the tapes that I've got. You can see a lot of people are like, well, we're not doing too good in the middle. Davidson's not doing so good. Onyemata's not doing so good. I'm like, dude, did you watch all the film? Because if you watch the film, man, they were solid in the middle. It was really hard. Now, may not be going in there and knocking the guy down. But they put enough pressure on the inside that makes the outside even better. It's a game of you have to know what the scheme is. It's not, when the ball is snapped, you four guys just go in there and tackle the quarterback. That's not the game that's played. You know it. The fellow that you like from Louisville,
Sheldon Rankins.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, man, he had a terrible year. Dude, look at the tape. He didn't have a terrible year.
The way that the Saints played Rankins was not conducive to him making a lot of plays. But here's the thing, and I know they're just single plays here and there, but every once in a while you'll see him flash with a play. Where, there was one play just recently that somebody was passing around on Twitter, and it was a play where he was going up and godly at Falcons center who's a all-pro Mac.
Yeah, I saw that
He
one.
used him up, and I mean,
Yeah,
like again, you can't judge a player by one play.
No.
Because Sheldon Rankins wouldn't have been a top first-round draft pick if he didn't have skills. So you can't fall in love with a guy because 1 out of 20 plays he flashes that skill that made him a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
Having said that, I've also seen Sheldon Rankins when you're sitting there watching the film, and he's so much stronger because he's not like a huge guy. He's not a Ndamukong Suh body.
Yeah.
But he's a very strong guy, and he holds up. Like, he's a very good all-around player. And the thing is, he missed half of his rookie year. Now he's coming into his third year. My point is
really,
him,
it's like-
Onyemata.
Yeah.
If we can get Hendrickson,
Davidson. These guys are young.
I would not be surprised at all if all of a sudden
Big step forward.
a huge step forward by the whole defensive line.
Yes, yeah.
And that'll change everything.
Yes,
all of a sudden the
absolutely.
linebackers are making more plays, and you're like,
Yes.
man, hypothetically, Robinson, man, he's so much. It's not that he's playing better. It's just the defensive line is playing so well, the linebackers can flow to the ball.
Yep.
And so, again, this is the time of year where my homer glasses, because I like to believe that I try to be as fair. I'm a Saints guy, so I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. But the off season is where the black and gold glasses get thick, simply because you're just thinking about what could be. Now, once the season starts and you're 4 games into the season, look, unless you're just a diehard that doesn't look at things realistically, you can start saying, well, that didn't happen because this guy isn't playing as like last year, and I still think he's going to have a Onyemata. I wrote an article about it, put it out there. I don't write a whole bunch, so when I do it, but that was my guy. I thought he was going to be the key. And he had a good season. He played well. He got better throughout the season.
Yep.
He played his best ball at the end of the year.
And you especially like when he hit
Oh, God, when he just destroyed Cam Newton. He's my hero. Thing about
he
it,
didn't
though.
get concussion, though.
No concussion
concussion
on that play. But I expect not Rankins, but Onyemata, I think maybe I was just a year too premature. I think this year he's going to have a huge step up.
Well,
And
I'm going to tell
I'll
you.
be disappointed if he doesn't.
All right, well, I'm going to tell you. I've taken my Saints glasses off. Say that right here.
Okay.
Because I did want to say this. I don't want to get too excited. I love my Saints. And, Dave will tell you all the time. Anybody talks bad about my Saints, dude,
True story.
yeah, you're in trouble. But as I've been preparing for the season, looking through everything, checking the position players and so forth and so on, I am really starting to be concerned about our schedule. We are playing every playoff team like back to back. If go to hell. I mean, Goodell really has it out for us. He's made it quite clear with the schedule for this year. It's a tough schedule. It really is. I would say, and I don't know, I'm sure that our crack statistician over there is going to find out exactly where we're ranked, but we've got to be close to the number 1 or 2 hardest
schedule. Yeah, strength of schedule.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I believe that's already been just right off the bat. The fact that we played Atlanta twice and we played Carolina twice.
Yeah, but I'm talking. We're playing the Vikings. We're playing the Eagles.
No, I know.
We're playing the Rams.
And that's designed by schedule that the first place team in this division plays that.
Yeah.
So you're going to have, when you have a successful season, you're a playoff team.
Sure.
Because here, it's not even about you. And it's about the NFL saying, hey, how can we get these playoff teams playing each other during the season?
Well, because you see, they want parity. That's the whole thing. So
they want parity.
those
They want
teams-
ratings. They want listen. How many times during the season were you and I sitting there and it's like, I remember Heath, because Heath, he watches the game, but every other weekend he has obligations,
Right.
so he has to leave.
Yeah.
And there are times when I'm sitting there and I'm looking around. I'm like, I'm excited. The Saints are playing, and then I look around. I'm like, what other games are we going to put on to? And I'm like, there's nothing.
Nothing else
and then,
on.
And I'm thinking, well, we're playing Tampa Bay. To everybody else in the NFL, that game sucks.
Right.
And so literally there are weeks when there's just not. So the NFL wants those playoff teams playing so they can have headliner games. So that's part of the
I
reason.
think they should space them out a little bit better than they do. I mean, if all the top teams are playing each other in game number 2, when game number 15 comes up, you don't have that. Everybody's like, dude, these are like really bad games.
Right.
We got the Bengals playing against whoever they're playing, and
What really is just blows is the same thing why the Saints were where they were in the seeding for the playoffs. If the Saints didn't have to play the Vikings, the Rams, they had to play all the top teams. I guess in a way you say, hey man, we got our seed because we beat the other teams. But I don't know. I just feel like certain years, like last year, just felt like we had to play every playoff team, and we
When
had
they
to
were
play them
hot.
all on the road.
when they were hot.
And when they were hot,
Yeah.
and then also when the Saints were still trying to feel their way around.
Well,
like
the first game against the Vikings,
yeah,
that was a
Vikings,
nightmare.
like the,
Yeah,
the
'cause we had
Saints
no
were
clue.
still trying to figure out what
Yeah.
they were doing, So
yeah. But we'll see. Again, hey, when you put yourself in the crucible, you get rid of the
and that's the thing. Listen, I don't look at things.
purity comes out of the force of heat.
I look at things. I don't look at it like I hope we can. And I don't mean about the Saints, about in general. I go into a game saying, look, I don't hope we can win this game. If we're good enough, we will win the game.
That's correct.
And so
I agree.
at the end of the day, you go into a game and it's not I hope I can win, I hope I can win. It's like we find out today if the Saints are good enough, or if LSU or whoever you pull for, we'll find out today if they are the better team than the other team.
I agree with you.
Now, at the end of the game, sometimes you were the better team and you fumbled that ball away and ran it back for a touchdown. Then the next day, you're like, we're the better team still. But the point is that last year we went to the Rams, we lost. I mean, okay, so that was an example. We didn't have Lattimore, which is a complete defense changer.
Right.
Maybe it would have been a different game had we played the Vikings in week 11 as opposed to week 1.
Oh yeah, would have been
A different outcome.
Sure.
Had we played the Vikings at home in week 11, would have been a different outcome.
Yeah.
The Rams, same thing. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, so there's so many factors that really, it's like, man, when you get in those playoff seedings. But I'll tell you what, look, I thought the Vikings were in the NFC. I thought, well, I until the Eagles Wentz went down, I thought the Eagles were the best team in the NFC South, and I thought that the Vikings were right behind them. Never thought that we went in. I still remember that playoff game. At halftime, we were all kind of like, well, hey, good season. I'm not going anywhere. I'm watching the rest of the game. But all of us, and I'm sure most of the Saints fans were just kind of like, well, it's over,
Not me.
but-
I knew we were gonna come back.
But, I mean, now I look at it and say, man, if we wouldn't have been so banged up. I mean, because one of the reasons the Vikings were in the position they were, they won one of the healthiest teams in the league last
Yes,
year.
that's true.
So, we're playing them. If we would have played them in week 11 at home, then maybe we're not playing Minnesota in Minnesota. My point is there's just a lot of factors that go into that regular season schedule.
Sure.
And it determines the playoff schedule. But I tell you what.
But at this point right now, I have to go back to what Dave says. When you have that many ifs, you have a problem. If Davenport works out, if Okafor comes back, if Anzalone comes back,
Well,
if
okay.
all of a sudden you got all these ifs.
Let me counter that though. Here's,
Okay, go
here's
ahead.
what I'm gonna say
now
about
you're
that.
gonna play devil's advocate the other way.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay,
play
go ahead.
devil's advocate against my own saying or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Is if your quarterback can do this, and if your left tackle can, and if your cornerback can come back healthy, and
Yeah,
if your suspended running back, we have some issues at defensive end. You just named, like, all we need is one of those ifs to come in and play pretty well. We need our third round draft pick from last year, Hendrickson. If he comes back and plays,
Like he was playing
20%
right before he got
better,
hurt.
20% better than he did as a rookie,
Yeah.
which you would expect in his second year. If Davenport can give you, those 40% of the snaps and get you 6 sacks and pressures and athleticism and force a couple of plays that might have been plays you just don't really think much about. What I'm talking about is how many times do you see in a passing situation, even when you have the lead, where you rush forward and you get no pressure, and the quarterback, and he has all day long to throw. Now all of a sudden, maybe you don't get that initial pass rush, but with his athleticism, you don't get 8 seconds to throw. He comes out, he won't get the initial pressure, but he's too athletic to stay blocked. My point is that you're talking all about one position. All we need is one of those ifs to step up, and we're solid at that position. So I think that's a lot of ifs.
Well, that's a different story from last year.
I'm just saying
that wasn't Dave's story last year.
I'm saying it's one position. Because I
yeah,
agree.
but you got several positions that are like that.
Okay,
if Anzalone comes back, because you don't want Robertson playing out there again.
I agree. If Anzalone
right.
comes
If
back,
Anzalone comes back.
Here's the thing: if Anzalone comes back, our defense can take a step up because of his athleticism and speed. But if Robertson has to play, it's not the end of the world.
No, it's not the end of the world.
He's a solid NFL linebacker.
Yes, but he'll get beat to the corner on more than one occasion.
And here's the other thing: if Robinson, I agree with that. There were plays, especially the Viking
You
game.
saw that.
He
couldn't
you
set
get the
the
ball in
corner.
space, and instead of coming up and stopping it at a 4-yard gain, the receiver would get the angle on him, and it'd be
That's
a 12-yard gain, a first down. But here's the thing: linebacker situation. If Anzalone doesn't play, I still think that we have other guys that can play, replace. Because Robinson, while I think he's solid, his lack of athleticism is so obvious when he's on the field that you have other guys. Klein could then step in for Anzalone.
But is Klein going to come back?
Oh yeah,
See, that's another if because he had a serious injury. Well, he had a serious injury.
Not serious enough to jeopardize his season. He'll be back. I mean, am I missing something?
I think so.
Well, because what do you?
He was out at the end of the season.
No,
he hurt an ankle.
I get it, but I didn't think it was any kind of injury that would. I mean, you got guys blowing out Achilles. I'd have to look at that, but I haven't even really paid attention to it because.
that's it.
Well, no, you see, what I'm saying is I didn't think it was anything serious.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I think I'm right. I'm just saying that I'm not one of those people to start beating a drum if I don't know I'm right. And the point is I haven't paid attention to it.
I'm the voice of authority.
Well, you do. You say things, I'm right. And it's like, well, what I'm saying is this. I didn't hear anything. I had no reason to believe that his injury was anything to worry about.
Yeah.
So I'm not going into, I didn't think, but if I go do some research and find out that the injury was nerve damage or something to his ankle, but I would have heard something by now. So I don't think that's the case. I think he's going to be fine.
Just remember that he was diagnosed by the Oshner team.
Okay. See, now you're just trying to. That's one of those statistics you throw out there. You win.
Well,
it's not fair. You just throw that out there, and I'm like,
just
okay,
saying.
what am I going to say? So, and then not to mention Anzalone, I heard that they used the cadaver of a lumberjack and his shoulder.
I'm a lumberjack, and that's okay.
He can't lift his arm above his waist, but that
That's
you'll
okay.
never get dislocated again.
There you go.
So, all right,
I got a couple of questions, Ryan.
All right, go ahead, sir.
all right, go ahead.
Here's the NFL strength of schedule. Look that up for a second.
See, tie for number 2.
Tie for number 2.
Oh, with Gary's team.
It says this is based on opponent's winning percentage from last year.
There you go.
You got Tampa at 4, and then you got actually 5 teams tied
At 5.
for 5th.
Yeah.
The one that I couldn't fit up there. Actually, no, sorry. The Bears are actually 8th, tied for 8th.
What tied for 8th?
Everybody else is right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Green Bay with the hardest schedule. Tied at 2nd is Detroit and New Orleans.
There you go.
4th, Tampa Bay. A bunch of teams tied at 5th. The Rams, Seattle, Cleveland, and
Chicago's actually 8th.
and
Chicago's
Chicago's 8th.
8th.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I mean, you called it, and listen, I didn't know what it was. I thought I heard something about it being one of the toughest
Yeah, it's
schedules.
one of the toughest
Having
ones.
said that, right off the bat, if you got 2 teams in your division that's winning 12 games, And you know,
And that's the thing that they're talking about. They're talking about, every team in the division except for Tampa Bay is going to have double-digit wins.
well, you know what I'm.
Carolina's got the 12th hardest schedule, and Atlanta's right after them at 13.
What I was just about to say. I wonder why, because if you look at Atlanta and Carolina, they have to play the Saints, and they have to play.
Yeah, but I bet they're not playing the Rams.
Probably not.
And I bet they're not playing Philadelphia. Who are we playing? I can't remember now who it is that the South is playing. I think we're playing Pittsburgh and
yes,
Cincinnati.
that's right.
And Cleveland.
That's right.
I think that's who we're playing.
Yeah, isn't that the Central?
Yeah, I think so.
AFC Central.
Yeah.
So that's
why they don't have to play the Rams. They don't have to play Vikings. They don't have to play the Eagles. That's why they're further down.
Because that second place schedule as opposed to that
There
first
you
place
go.
schedule. So
Or third place schedule.
Third place schedule.
Whatever happens.
All right. So you want to take a quick break?
Any other question there?
Yeah, you asked about the Madden rankings.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next highest player behind Keegan and Jones from the division
Yes.
is Levante David from Tampa Bay. He's also 95.
Okay.
Then the next person below Cam Jordan is Desmond Trufant.
Fun. Yeah. Yeah.
And then Greg Olson.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
Yeah.
Drew Brees comes right after them at a ranking of 91.
91.
91.
I don't know what number he is.
Well, you know what? What's funny is that with a guy like Drew Brees, and I'm just talking video game wise, I can only imagine speed. He ain't really that fast. So
Exactly. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Strength. Wow. So
Height.
So they have to come up with intangibles 100,
There you
and
go.
that's not enough to make the average
Yes, yeah.
super high.
Yeah,
But I know that playing with I had a nephew, man. I used to get him. He'd be so mad because I'd always play with the Saints, and Drew Brees, everything he threw was just completion. So
Yeah.
anyway, you asked about those games. I don't do it anymore, but for the longest time, I'm not a big video game guy, but I'd always buy the most recent Madden, and I would play one season and then it'd go back in the box. I just play the whole season through the Super Bowl and then go back in the box.
Oh, there you have it.
Oh yeah, because I can't stand it. Nowadays you playing online with these people and it's like some 8-year-old and they're just crushing you, and they do the thing where they drop back 40 yards and then scramble around, and then you can't catch them, and then they end up throwing an 80-yard pass, and it's just so they know how to manipulate the game.
Right.
And then they had the thing. I just remember this. I guess for your stats or whatever, you have to finish the game. So what they'll do is they'll just put their game down and walk away. And if you have the ball, you get a 5-yard penalty. Till you back to your own end zone, and then you just have the distance, and so it just stays there until the other person just quits, and then you get the win.
Yeah.
And I'm like, some kid tried that with me, and I was like, what the hell? And then he's like, he don't understand. I only play this game once every 3 months. So I'm like, I sat it there, I didn't turn it off. But I come back the next day, it was still there. I'm like, so some of these kids, man, they know how to manipulate all that
there you go.
stuff.
One other fun fact here.
Yes, sir.
Drew Brees is the highest rated quarterback. Matt Ryan's at 89. Then Cam Newton at 88. And then, as Tomas likes to call him, crab legs.
Woohoo! Jameson.
At 80.
80.
80.
And he has 3 kickers ranked above him.
How about that?
3 kickers ahead of.
Wow.
All right. Well, hey, I tell you what. You want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take
and
a
then
break.
what we'll do is
We'll
we'll
take a
come
long
back.
time.
We got a couple of minutes, and we're going to go over some predictions. We have
All
some
right,
fun
predictions.
predictions.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So y'all don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more BS and Beer podcast. Go. Welcome back. It's the BS and Beer podcast crew. Tomas Mauricio with me. I'm serious. I immediately
You
want
get
to
off
say
the rhythm. Yeah, you get off the
Heath
rhythm.
Elson-San. So what I'm going to start doing now is Dave Romero, Heath Elson-San is not with us today.
There you go.
And then Tomas
In
Mauricio.
absentia.
Tyler over there in the control room. We do have what I consider a fun little game where we're going to do a couple of predictions. Tyler, let's go to 4 or 6, and you can be part of this. Let's see. So I'm gonna ask the questions here. The first one I have is who's gonna have the third biggest rushing total at the end of the season?
Third, and I'm saying it's going to be Boston Scott.
Boston Scott.
He's going to have the third. That's right.
All right.
For all our listeners out there in Ruston, and don't forget now, we're worldwide.
Worldwide.
That's
yes,
right. We'll
Worldwide.
go all the way to Shanghai.
Shanghai.
That's
too.
right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at the world map.
What?
Get that all put together.
Okay.
Tyler, you have any ideas?
I think Drew Brees breaks off a couple 100-yard rushes.
Nice.
There you
Nice.
go.
I like
There you
it.
go.
Like it.
Jones, trick play.
Good
Well
play.
done.
There you
All
go.
right. So, Here's one that's almost like a legitimate question. You know what? Here's the thing. Golly, I think it's gonna be the kid that we just picked up from that played for Baltimore last year. I can't remember his name. West. Yes, I think it's gonna be West. All right. So all right, backup quarterback. This is kind of a this is gonna be kind of a almost legit question. And so is Tannehill gonna be the backup, or are we gonna go with the guy from Houston, Savage?
I personally don't think it's gonna be either one of those guys.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think that we're gonna end up with Teddy Bridgewater. He's gonna come in here and he'll be the backup.
Okay.
I'm just
I'm like I don't know where this is going.
Well,
but
there was some talk. No, I'm being serious now. There was some talk about the possibility of the Saints. It came up a couple of different places on the social media that the Saints should probably make an effort to sign Teddy Bridgewater because they had too many players over there for the Jets, and maybe he'd make a good backup to Drew Brees. Mm-hmm. And I laughed about it. Because I really think that it's going to be.
He's still got a decent contract, though, right? I mean, he's a multi-million-dollar contract. No, I don't remember. I
don't think so because I think that he was at the end of that rookie contract.
Yeah, I mean, no, he was a free agent. Remember, all the Vikings quarterbacks were free
so that's
agents?
what I'm saying. So he signed I don't think he signed a big contract.
And I was in Vegas at the time, so I don't remember.
So you won't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember myself.
Yeah. No, but I'm seriously, I think it'll be Taysom Hill. I don't think. Look, if you go back and a lot of people, Tom Swift. Look, he sucked when he was at Houston.
No, I know.
You know,
so really,
I mean,
here's the thing. The question more is, do you buy in the hype of
J.T. Barrett?
No, not J.T. Barrett. I hadn't even thought about him, but of Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
So okay, Tyler, you have an opinion? I got nothing. All right, so Heath is here today. All right, I think it's going to be Savage.
You think it'll be Savage?
Just, I want it to be
Taysom
Hill, but I just I'm using this like. Listen, any offseason you're going to look back, or any season you're going to look back and say, here are the things that worked out the way you thought they were going to.
And here's the one. Yeah.
And so, you got to believe that some things aren't going to turn out right.
All right.
And if I have 10 things like our defensive end we were talking about,
yeah.
Well, I want that to turn out right, so I have to pick something that's not going to turn out.
Right.
Let it be the backup quarterback. Right?
All right.
All right. So let's move on. Will Ben Watson have more receptions than Josh Hill and Yelder, the undrafted free agent rookie, combined?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I think that there's some question to this because at the end of the season and in the playoffs, Hill stepped up, and I wonder how much of that is maybe Sean Payton
because we needed to win the game, and so he threw the ball to him 4 times.
He's just a big time. He's like what they would say about Chris Carter. He only catches touchdowns.
That's
right?
it.
He only makes big plays when we need him.
That's it.
That guy
Otherwise,
sucks. He only makes big plays when we need him. So all right, so I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with the Hill. I'm going with Hill and the undrafted and Yelder. Not that I think Yelder's going to do much. Yeah. I think he's a good prospect. I think he's a developmental guy. Yeah. But I think Hill will actually have more receptions than Ben Watson.
All right. What's up?
All right. How many sacks will Davenport have? Davenport.
I give him 4.
4. Tyler, any idea? You can go. Oh, you just. I should have done over and under.
Over and under. Well, go ahead, change it now. Go ahead.
Okay. So new question. What's the over and under for Davenport sacks? And I'm gonna put it at 5. 5.5.
5. I'm gonna keep moving it up.
4.5.
4. At 5.5, I take the under.
Okay, 5.5 the under. Yeah, 4.5. Yeah, 4.5. 5.5.
So you're gonna push on 5.5. I'm gonna take under 5.5. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna go over.
Over.
I'm gonna go over.
Then we covered the whole gamut.
Yeah, we got it all covered. We have to remember this. We're gonna pull this up.
You better write that down.
The plan. Well, the plan is to actually pull the audio next year at this time.
All right.
And
see how we came out.
Yeah, see how we came out. That's why I was trying to come up with some creative ones here.
All
All
right.
right. So, Cameron Meredith versus Ted Ginn and the rookie Smith.
Yeah, Traquan Smith.
Which one has more receptions?
That's a good one. I'm going to go with the rookie and Ted Ginn.
Okay. Tyler?
Say it again.
Okay, so Cameron Meredith, our free agent who we signed from the Chicago Bears, and Ted Ginn Jr. and our third-round draft pick, Smith. So Cameron Meredith by himself versus the combined receptions of Ted Ginn and Smith. Okay.
There you go, me too.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think that Ginn will probably step a little bit back into his traditional role of being the guy that spreads the defense and is a deep threat. There were some games in there where I was so proud of him, but he took some big hits. I remember Atlanta in particular.
Yeah.
And I think it was out of necessity. You know, you start doubling Thomas, and he was really our only next best option.
Yep.
And I don't think he's built that way, and I don't think the Saints want him to take that pounding. So I think that he'll have less receptions, and I'm going to go with Cameron Meredith overcoming that injury and stepping up and being a big part of the team. So I'm going to go with Cameron Meredith.
All right.
Over the Rook and Ted Ginn Jr.
All right, we'll see.
All right, so here we go. Will Kamara have more receptions in the first 4 games than all the tight ends combined? During the whole season. During the whole season.
No, so only 4 games for Kamara, but the entire season for the tight end.
For all the tight ends
All
on
the
the
tight
team.
ends come in. So who will have more receptions?
Who have more receptions?
I go with tight ends.
Okay. Yeah, I might have had to throw a little something on top of that because, and here's the other thing is when I started telling you about these questions during the break, it's like, who are you playing? So do you expect to be up by 30 points? You know, do you expect to be a struggle? To really answer that question, because I don't know if it'd really be that tight, but I could see Kamara having 30 receptions in those 4 games.
Now, it depends on who the defense is.
No, receptions. I can see
swing
him.
Passes.
Yeah, swing passes, screens. You know, I mean, the guy is, by the end of the year, he's running routes. You know what I'm saying? He's running routes like a receiver. I don't think that's going to be as necessary because, quite frankly, we have a better receiving core than we had last year.
Yeah.
So,
again, he's playing devil. That's not what he said just a couple of weeks ago.
I think our
You're
our
changing
receiving
your
core
mind here.
has potential.
See, I said that, and you're like, oh, where? We lose one guy, and we got nothing. That's what you said.
I still think they have
Take up the
potential.
tape. Yeah, pick up the tape.
I still believe that. I still
all right.
believe that if we lose Michael Thomas, we're in trouble.
All
But
right.
I believe if Michael Thomas is healthy, you have good supporting cast, a really good supporting cast, and the potential, because I think Meredith can be a beast. So I think you have a good supporting cast, but then there's another if. If Cameron can overcome
That's
that
right,
injury.
see?
So, but the thing is, I think they can. So, I think that's, I don't know, that maybe that was more for entertainment value than it was because I don't think our tight ends are going to produce a whole bunch this year.
All right.
And anyway, and Kamara's going to definitely have a big first 4 games. All right. So, who'll be the camp beast?
I have 2 possibilities, but I'm going to go with the one that I think is going to be the camp beast, Boston Scott.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with that. Yeah, Tyler, you have any?
I'm gonna go with the kid from West Kentucky.
Oh, you like
Yelder.
Yelder? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I see where you're going with that. All right, yeah, because I think he's just a scat back, and they always look good in training camp because it's
Well,
not
but he's
really.
big and strong too. He's
No,
not just a
I'm
scat back.
not taking anything from him, but those guys are just more flashy. And listen, training camp, there's tackling, there's hitting, not a lot of tackling, but the thing is, but it's not a game.
All right.
So.
Well, that was my offensive guy. I did have one guy on
You want to throw somebody else?
defense
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
that I thought might be surprising to people. I think Millette might become a camp beast.
Oh, author?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I think, again, I see a real giant step forward for him defensively and in the defensive backfield.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So one more question. Will Devontae Harris, Austin Carr, and Mohammed find their way onto the practice squad?
I believe Muhammad, yes. I believe Devontae Harris,
Okay.
sorry. Even though he was one of my UFAs that you all like to trade.
Yeah, no. You know what? Listen, there's something to be said, although his career has been very maligned.
See, the whole thing is
something to be
that
said.
he plays
He's been on the
great.
team for.
He practices great.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. This is why he started the games.
Yes.
Because he practices great.
Yeah.
And so the coach is like, yeah, but he gets into a game and he freaks.
He gets stage fright.
Yeah. And so, it's like, so no. I think he's had his chances. I know they signed him again, but considering who else they have back there, I like some of the other undrafted free agents that we'll talk about in another show.
Okay.
But I like Mollett stepping up. So, no, I don't see any place for Devontae Harris.
Okay.
The kid Carr, I'm not sure. The wide receiver thing is, I'm kind of.
See, I've heard
I
good
know-
things about the kid from LSU, and I'm like, I don't know where he's going to fit. You know?
I think we have 4 people that we know are going to make this team. That leaves only 2 positions open if we take 6 wide receiver.
Yep.
And I think those last two positions are going to be a dogfight, man.
Yeah.
Because I think there's some people that I still think we're still looking for the quiet storm backup. And I think the Saints are still, the coaching staff is still looking for that guy, who's got range, he's a big body, and he'll go out there and catch that ball.
Okay, I don't know if that came over, but anyway, yeah, you know
Well,
what?
one a day. Look, you got to give him his props, man. The guy can block. That's why he's made this team over and over and over.
I agree. I just don't know if
I don't
know
know
if
if
you're
there's
the
enough for
fifth
another
or
year.
sixth guy has
Yep.
got to be a good special teams player,
Yeah,
and
and
he's
he's
just
not.
really.
Yep.
But he does have skills that help the team. I just don't know if what's funny is that you could be the number 3 receiver on a team this year. Next year, another guy can come and replace you as the number 3 guy, and you're off the team.
That's right.
Because
You don't
number
fit the
3
rest of them.
receiver,
Yeah.
number 3 receiver is a actual receiver who plays in the games, and
Right.
catches balls.
Right.
Number 4 receiver, you hope he can-
Borderline.
is a special teams guy.
Yeah,
You
5
hope,
and 6 for sure.
Yeah, you hope that he can catch the ball and play
Yeah.
receiver pretty well.
Yeah.
And I'm saying I'm painting with a broad brush right there, but generally speaking, you could go from and he's a prime candidate because he's not a great receiver, but he does some good things that helps the team. If you find somebody who can do those things okay and can be a good receiver, he's not a 4 guy.
No.
So that's why I think it's going to be questionable. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Well, that's why I said the 5 and 6 position is going to be a dogfight.
Dogfight.
And we'll talk about it in another show coming up. We'll evaluate. I will. I'll bring all my papers in with the 78 wide receivers that we have.
that's right.
And I will evaluate the wide receiver situation.
All right. You got any final thoughts?
I got nothing.
I got nothing. Oh, man.
In honor of
in
our-
honor of our guy.
of our comrade
All right.
there.
Well, hey, for Heath Elson-San, Tomas Mauricio, Tyler Kistner in the booth, I'm Dave Romero. You've been listening to the BS and Beer podcast. We'll catch you next week. Ready for football season, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll
All
talk
right.
to you later.
Later.